I'm having a really bad time with this one. Welcome to my channel, people. If you're new here, I'm Brandy, and today I received a package, and this entire video is dedicated to wooden pallet DIYs with to look for less ideas later on. Let's jump right into this. We're going to start off by creating our own custom stain. I'm going to use these three colors for this. I used about 2 tablespoons of paint in each tray, and then I put on some gloves because we're going to get a little messy. We're also going to need this paper plate with these napkins. We're going to need more than this because I think I used more pallets than is in this box. Anyhow, all I'm doing for this is just submerging these pallets in these little trays with the stain. Do not keep them in there very long. You don't want the wood to warp. If it's not enough on there, just smush my hand around the bottom, collecting a little bit more of the paint that is not stirred in and rubbing it all over the pallets. It gets in all the nooks and crannies. It's very quick. I did a ton of these in like 10 minutes. Some of them did not have as much stain as I would have liked, so I just took a paintbrush, smushed it around the bottom, and then went over them. And just to give you an idea, this is the first load, and they're drying. I'm starting off with this cute little number. I think this is just a darling little piece. I'm using this stencil from Walmart, and we're just going to use this little, I guess it's we're just going to call it a flower because I want to call it a sunflower, and I know it's not, but we're just going to call it a flower. And I usually use one of those dry brushes to do my stencils, but I'm going to use these makeup sponges with these 3 colors. And the reason I'm doing the makeup sponge and I'm not doing my dry brush technique that I love doing is because these stencils do not stick very well. So I need to press down as I go, and I am fading the stencil in, so it's kind of a very intricate thing, and that's what these makeup brushes are really good for, is blending. So to give it more of a layered look with some highlights, I'm just taking some darker colors and going around some of the edges. You really can use whichever stencils you want that will match with your decor. I just like this little thing and it's so pretty. For the beads, I used the same technique with the water, just swished them around and then put them on this dowel. My girl Erica over at DIY with Erica, I'll link her down below. I was watching her video the other day. She lets her beads dry the same way. I had a little chuckle at it. We talked about that. Anyhow, hi girl, hey. Okay, so I use Gorilla Glue and hot glue to get all my stuff. You guys are going to see this going on. Gorilla Glue, hot glue, and some wood glue. And then I'm just taking some Mod Podge and finishing this off. I wanted to do something different and really like the blue. I love how this turned out. I made this for my mama. My mama's favorite color is blue. This, if you have not seen my Valentine's video, I do a similar technique with a completely different design. I put some styrofoam in the bottom. It helps me put floral in there. And in case you guys are like, Gorilla Glue constantly, Brandy, for real, if you have not seen my Try It Tuesday, I'll link that down below, where I am beating some stuff up with a hammer. That Gorilla Glue, it's a beast. You'll see me use it. So really just taking the twine and overlapping it, making it look kind of twisty to kind of give it just a little bit of a design with this twine. And then I made a knot in 3 pieces, and I'm going to make a fake, I call it a fake bow, because really I'm not tying it, I'm just kind of gluing it, and then I'm going to hide it with a flower. So I'm gluing this down on here, and then of course more hot glue. What I tell you guys, hot glue. And in case you're like, why are you doing both? Because if it gets hot out and you only have hot glue, guess what? If that's sitting in the sun or on a porch, it's gonna melt. Your whole thing, it's gonna melt right off. Sorry, it's what happens with the hot glue. Then I got these little flowers from Micheals, and I'll see if I can link them down below for you. And I'm not sure where these other flowers are from. I plucked them from my stash. For this stain art piece, you're going to get messy. So you're going to need some cloth, you're going to need some gloves, some tape, and whatever colors you want to use. Plus some water and a plate. I started this off by using washi tape to really just, there was no method to my madness here. And any little gaps, I folded over some extra tape to kind of make it rounded. I did not want it sharp. I didn't want sharp edges. I wanted it kind of rounded. And I made sure to the direction I planned on painting it, I put the next layer underneath. So when I removed the top layer, the next layer was not affected by any bleeding. So it's a good little technique. I've made a lot of mistakes trying this. Now you could, I was running out of bowls. We're running out of bowls. I didn't feel like going to the store. I'm like, we're going to figure out a way around this. So I dabbed the little cloth. I dabbed the cloth in the water and then we put it in the paint. And as long as you make sure that by the time you get to that edge area, your little cloth with your paint stain is dry, it's not going to bleed. See that? However, if your little cloth is soaking wet with paint stain, it's going to bleed all into the next color. So just be mindful when you're doing that. If you're looking for a little more detail with that, in my farmhouse video I posted, I'll put down below, I go into a little bit more detail with that. I plan on hanging this on the wall, so I have these little hangers and I just hammered them in there, and then we're going to use this tight bond wood glue. The rest of the video you're going to see it probably everywhere, and use popsicle sticks and hot glue to put, and of course I'm struggling with the hot glue. Like, it never works when I want it to, and then I gotta stick stuff in there because it's all clumpy. I don't know what my problem is with it. My struggles. Before I added the florals to this, I just put some Mod Podge on here. You can use whatever Mod Podge you want. I just used a matte. These little stickers I picked up at Dollar Tree, more florals from Micheals, and that little white stick of stuff over there, I don't really have a name for what that is from Walmart. And then I just kind of pieced this in here however I thought it looked. Let me know in the comments below if you guys would have did something different with this. I really I think I would have added some more. I think later I did add some more later. You guessed it, more wood glue and more hot glue. And we are alternating these little pallets as we go, so that way there will be like a little square in the center when you are done. And then on the back, I'm taking more wood glue and more hot glue and taking popsicle sticks, and I let this dry for about 30 minutes before I started putting on the stencil in the front. These are just large wood beads. I can link down below in the pack that I purchased from Amazon. And then I'm using the Gorilla Glue. It has a 10-second bond time. It might take a little bit longer than 10 seconds, but ideally it's good enough that when I'm about to drop it right here, not a bead came off. Yes, I had hot glue on there, people. Okay. I'm not giving all the credit to the Gorilla Glue. Anyhow, these little designs were very tribal, boho, Aztec to me. I really was trying to create something different throughout this entire video for everyone. So there was something for everyone, some farmhouse, some color, some springy, some just all around everything, and hope that everyone that's watching is enjoying and likes the different styles. I like to give people options. Take these DIYs and remix them however you want to match up with whatever you got. This DIY and the last one is really what got this whole video started. I seen these shelves at Walmart for $14 and I'm like, I might want more than one. I think I can make them cheaper. So I purchased these pallets and I'm taking more popsicle sticks And I'm actually using these metal cutters to cut them. It works amazing. Now you see how there's not one there? That's because that's going to be like where we're looking, and I don't want anybody to see a popsicle stick there, so I left that blank. And then you're just going to take a drill bit and drill a hole in each corner. I think I need a new drill bit. I'll be back. I am a huge Ryobi person, so most of my tools consist of that. Once I got the new drill bit on there, it went right through, and I did that on each corner. Then I took white jute twine or white twine, and I took 4 pieces, cut it, used some painter's tape. I use painter's tape a lot. I love painter's tape. And then shoved a big bead through the hole, and I did the same thing at the end of each one of these 4 pieces, and then shoved it. Now you don't want a huge hole because you really want this to be tight, so when you do your knot, it's not going anywhere, even when you put a little bit of weight. If you're struggling to pull it through, just take a pair of needle nose pliers and pull it the rest of the way. All I did on the ends of these to kind of finalize it is just create knots where the beads were. I hung it up on the wall and kind of made sure it was all sturdy, and then started putting my knots, and I did it one at a time, and I did a double knot on each of them. For this DIY, I am always telling my kids that only they are responsible for their happiness, and that starts with them. So I really wanted to model this. So I used some joint compound to create a texture on this little tiny pot I picked up from Micheals, and I just mixed some chalk paint in a brown with that and smushed it all around to create a texture with the glove. You could take a paintbrush as well to give it a little bit more if you want. I would be happy to do an entire video with texture techniques with the joint compound. If you're interested, just comment below. For this part, I wanted to show you guys exactly how amazing these little clippers are, so I just filmed me snipping them off for you. I usually struggle with the popsicle sticks, cutting them with things. They'll kind of get brittle and snap, but these are beautiful. This works so great. Using a Cricut. If you don't have a Cricut, you can get stickers or you can do stencils. They will all work. I should have done it because this was a nightmare. You guys, people, let me explain something to you. Me and this Cricut have a love-hate relationship, and I was about ready to rip my hair out today. I don't know if it was lettering. It definitely was not the painter's tape. It came off. The weeding was fine. This is where I went wrong. If you're going to do this, and if you're going to put any, going forward, take my advice, if you're going to put any type of stencil or even stickers like this with lettering on anything painted, put a layer of Mod Podge on it. Do you see how it's not sticking? Do you see all that paint on the back of there? It's coming off with the transfer. I should have put a layer of Mod Podge on it. So I couldn't do nothing about it. I was already in it. It took me an hour to put that little thing on there. I'm done being bitter. Done being salty about it. On to the pots. I then just dry brushed a little bit of black on there, and we're going to use some black floral wire so it all blends in, and I'm just pressing it around the pots. Next, I'm just twisting it in the back so it kind of moves in and out, so that way if I want to change the floral or whatever's in this pot I can. And then I'm going to just shove it through the center gap in this little palette, and then I'm going to press one up and one down, and I'm going to glue it in place with the Gorilla Glue and the hot glue, and want to let that dry for like 5 minutes before you start doing anything else. For my little hanger, I'm just braiding some jute twine. I'm taking it back to the old school, the 90s, when you used to just sit on your stoop and braid some bracelets. We used to make them all the time. I love doing that stuff. And then I, of course, put this on the back using Gorilla Glue, and I'm having a really bad time with this one. I have been wanting one of these style shelves for a while. I've seen them online and they're rather expensive. So I'm like, I think I can make this cheaper. And I did for $10. 10 pallets, $10. This was such a unique little way to arrange these. You can really, whatever style you want to arrange these. I also chose larger popsicle sticks. These were the largest ones I had, and put them at each intersection where there was a lot of splits, and put wood glue and hot glue. And in between, I used the smaller popsicle sticks, except for on the edge. I did not put them on the very edge, so if people look at this from the side, they don't see a popsicle sticks hanging out from the side. And then I took some black and added it around the edges to give it a dry brush. And I really love this. I did the same thing with these little shelves. These are our shelves, and just added a little bit of that dry brushing on there to give it an extra little fabulous look. I really like it. Anyhow, and then use the wood glue and the hot glue to put these on where I wanted them. You can put these wherever you want them. This assorted wooden dowels I picked up, I think I got them from Walmart. I think maybe Hobby Lobby. I'm using a square one to put underneath to kind of give it a little bit of a brace, and I'm doing that for each one. I made sure to paint it the same color so it just kind of blends in. You can't even notice that they're there. And that's it. Thank you so much for joining me today, people. I really enjoyed making this video for you all. I hope you enjoyed this video as well. Comment down below and let me know if you had a favorite, or if you would have done a different color on any of these palettes, or added or changed something. I'd love to hear about all of that. Also, don't forget, comment if you're interested in me making a texture video with different styles and items for you with the joint compound. I'd be happy to do that. I do not have a community page, so I cannot give you guys a poll. So comment and let me know so I can make more videos that you're interested in watching. Also, you know the drill. Before you go, if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. It really helps me grow. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos with me. Each like, each comment, each subscriber tells YouTube to suggest my content. Until next time, bye!